Good morning and welcome to Marty's Tying Bench. Today we're tying Wyoming Renegade. This is a rugged fly, as is Wyoming, and it's a good rough water fly and serves in the right sizes as a good adult chironomid in the lakes. Standard hook, this one's a size 12. You can tie it in 10s, 12s, 14s, 16s. You probably have more delicate flies if you get down to size 18, so 10 to 16 is a good range for this. Going to start with red thread. Doesn't matter what kind of thread, you're just going to create kind of a hot spot, and then when I get above the barb of the hook I can finish that off. If you got some head cement handy, you can put a drop on the thread wraps. Now we're going to switch to a black thread. This is 70 denier. You could get by with a heavier thread. Just going to get that started and move forward and visualize how much of that hook shank I'm going to want for my hackle. And stop my thread there. Now I've got some deer hair or elk hair, I think this is elk, stuff that comes down to fairly quick tips, not too long, not too many hairs out on the end. And I'm going to get a small bundle of that. And stroke out any short fibers and any underfur. And it's still a pretty dense tail, but that's fine. I'm going to tap this in a hair stacker. And you want to pick some hair that's long. Because you got a little bit of folding to do here. Going to set it down until the tail, even though I'm tying it in at the front, the tail's about the right length. Make my first wrap right there at my transition point. I'm keeping my fingers on those tail fibers so I can keep them up on the top of the hook shank. Now grab all those butts and just pull them back, tie them in, and we'll build up a little bit of bulk using that. Now when I come back, I want to make sure I come back all the way to the red. Now I'm going to get a couple of strands of peacock and tie those in, but I'm going to leave the thread back here at the back. When I wrap forward, I'm kind of opening the turns to leave some space, and when I get to that transition point, I'm just going to reverse and go right back through it. Make this a little bit snug, and when I get to the end, I'm going to tie it off. Now be careful now about bumping your bobbin. You want to keep that tension, because what I'm going to do now is take all those long fibers, fold them over the top, and then with my left hand I'm going to lay the thread over the top as a rib. You only get 3 or 4 of those until you catch up with the front here. I'm going to trim all of those and kind of make a little bit of a smooth base for the hackle. Now we're going to use grizzly hackle. I've got a saddle that is long enough. You want it to be at least the hook gap, maybe a little bit more. And I'll tie that in. And move the thread almost to the eye and start my wraps. And my first wrap's going to cover up those little butts that I was trying to trim. And this is a bushy fly, so I'm going to try and keep these wraps real close to each other as I go forward. I'll have to go back to the tape, but I think I got 8, maybe even 9 wraps on that. Tie it off. Yep, there's some strays I don't need. There we go. We'll trim that stray as we cut my thread. There you go, a Wyoming Renegade.